Most people think they're tired. They're not. They think life feels heavy. It isn't. It's more than that. What they're feeling is something quieter and far more dangerous. They are repeating patterns they don't sue, responding to emotional triggers they didn't choose, and calling it personality. Once you understand how this actually works, you won't feel inspired. You'll feel exposed. And that's where clarity begins. To understand why this happens, you have to look beneath behavior and into repetition. Every human believes they are making conscious decisions, but most decisions aren't conscious. They're conditioned. Your nervous system doesn't care about truth. It cares about familiarity. So it quietly pulls you back to the same conversations, the same emotional roles, the same power imbalances, even when they drain you. That's why people stay in situations they swear they understand. Understanding something intellectually doesn't break a loop. Recognition does. And recognition is uncomfortable, because once you see the pattern, the excuse disappears. And when patterns repeat long enough, they start to feel like fate. Here's the part most people never hear. Most manipulation works without intent. People repeat behaviors that once kept them safe. Silence, appeasement, over-explaining, emotional restraint. These patterns worked once, so the body keeps using them, even when the environment changes. That's how someone becomes easy to deal with. That's how someone becomes reliable. That's how someone slowly becomes invisible. Not because others are evil, but because patterns invite responses. And the world responds efficiently, not fairly. Once you see this, the question is no longer, why them? But where is the leverage? Power isn't loud. Power isn't aggressive. Power isn't dominance. Power is clarity without urgency. The person who needs the least emotional validation sets the direction of the interaction. That's why calm unsettles reactive people. Silence pressures the insecure. Certainty without explanation feels threatening. Not because it's cruel, but because it refuses to participate in the usual exchange. Most people don't lose control. They give it away by reacting too fast, which is why motivation has never been the solution. Motivation talks to the mind. Patterns live in the body. And that's why advice doesn't stick. Affirmations fade. Discipline collapses under stress. Nothing changes until awareness reaches the nervous system. When you start noticing how your body tightens before you speak, how often you justify what you shouldn't tolerate, how quickly you explain instead of decide, you stop needing motivation. Because clarity replaces force. And when clarity settles in, behavior changes without effort. Here's what real change looks like. You pause longer than usual. You respond less than expected. You stop narrating your intentions. You don't become colder. You become clearer. And clarity does something interesting. It repels people who relied on your confusion. It attracts those who recognize self-command. This isn't just self-improvement. It's self-recognition. If this felt uncomfortable, that's the point. Comfort keeps patterns intact. Awareness breaks them. Nothing here was meant to motivate you. Motivation fades. Recognition doesn't. From here on, you'll notice the pauses, the reflexes, the moments where you almost react and don't. That's not restraint. That's leverage returning to its owner. Understanding people isn't about control. It's about no longer surrendering to it unconsciously. Once you see the pattern, it never stops revealing itself. This is Unsaid Dynamics.